It is Tuesday today. We're really winding down on this trip. We're trying to pack in as much as we can, and we're finally out today. Feeling a bit rough from last night's experience, so I'm moving a bit slower than usual.
I was a very bad influence on Mike this morning. I dragged him to breakfast somewhere in particular.
We went to McDonald's again.
I needed an apple pie.
Nicole's obsessed with apple pies here. So yes, we did McDonald's, and that's why you're seeing us post breakfast, because you don't want to see that twice. And
I know you didn't.
I know, yeah, I didn't. But I don't know. I guess there's something unfortunately satisfying. Is that a good way of putting it? About McDonald's breakfast? If they weren't giving apple pies, I would not have gotten breakfast today. The deep fried apple pie is really good, but I was just gonna go with Nicole, get a coffee, and then run to Family Mart, of which there are 3 within very short proximity to this McDonald's, and get some onigiris, but I got lured in by the apple pie.
And how can you say no to a place that serves milk and a juice box? I know I can't.
You say no. So
I don't want to say no.
And we're just walking through the Shia Dome here to Shimbashi Station, where we're going to take the Yamanote line around to our, we're basically going to hit Ueno Park area again. We didn't get to see a lot yesterday, so we're going to go back there, probably spend most of the day there, because there's quite a few temples and whatnot around that area that we want to check out. So I'll probably maybe supplement McDonald's with an onigiri this morning. We'll see. I said that yesterday, but then we found some other food to try at Tennoji Temple. So maybe that will happen again. I don't know. We'll see. So my arm is starting to hurt, so I'm going to put this down, and we're going to get on to the train.
Did we run out of money?
Yes, we got to top up our Suica card. So we tapped at Shimbashi Station and we got to our destination, but we don't have enough on here to pay for that trip. So we're going to have to charge up our Suica cards, and we do that at this machine. So I've already started by pressing the English button, and then I think we put our Suica cards in here. And we're going to charge that much and put our money in here, and we should be charged. And then we'll do it with this card. And we'll again do 1,000 yen.
Bye bye, precious cash. Sayonara.
And there, we're done. Our first stop for today is going to be Tennoji Temple, and we just came out of the train station here, and we're walking towards the temple. Here's the train station. It's sort of maybe not the best angle, but we came out over here and just crossed this bridge, and we came up these stairs to this cute little street. We're in an area called Yanaka, and these are pretty nice looking homes. And this is the path to the temple. And there's a little dude hanging out in his little home. He looks pretty comfy in there. And we're gonna continue our route. This looks like a fancy building. They have a little intercom. And look at the doors.
Yeah.
They're still they're new, but they're Japanese style sliding doors.
I like the dude hanging out in his little home.
Yes, uh-oh. School kids. Okay, let's go find this temple. Our first stop today, just outside the station you saw earlier, is Tennoji Temple, which was founded in 1274. And it is a Buddhist temple of the Tendai sect. And it's known for its striking Buddha statue that they have here. A copper Buddha statue was put up in the late 1600s, 1690 I believe. And the grounds here are like really well maintained, really serene. It's very quiet. We pretty much had it to ourselves for a while. Some other tourists just showed up. But yeah, it's a really nice place to come visit. And associated with this temple is Yanaka Cemetery. And Yanaka Cemetery used to be part of the temple, but it was separated during the Meiji Restoration when they were separating the whole Buddhism and Shinto thing. They really wanted to they wanted to bring focus to Shintoism and reduce the power of Buddhism, as Buddhism was imported into the country from China. So yeah, it's really nice place to come visit. You should totally, if you could go to Ueno Park, it's not a far walk up north from Ueno Park to come see Tennoji Temple and Yanaka Cemetery, which we're going to go check out next. During the Edo period, temples were allowed to hold lotteries for fundraising purposes, and you had to get special permission from the Tokugawa government to be able to do that. They really tightly controlled which temples were allowed and which weren't. And Tennoji Temple was one of the last, well, maybe the last temple that was allowed to hold lotteries during the Edo period. And then I think it went right up to 1800 and something, where its permission was finally revoked. There used to be a 5-story pagoda here in Yanaka Cemetery, which used to be a part of Tennoji Temple before everything was separated. But unfortunately in 1957, there was a young seamstress who was having an affair with an older married man. And they thought it'd be a really good idea to come here and to atone for their sins, light themselves and the pagoda on fire. I'm not quite sure how lighting something like that on fire is going to help you with your sins, but it's not here anymore. It's completely gone. It's destroyed in the fire. All that remains are the granite foundations. So we've come to see them, and they actually had some pictures here of what it used to look like, and it was really beautiful. And they have a picture of it on fire, which is pretty crazy to have captured. Yeah, so we're gonna continue on and just imagine what used to be here. The Yanaka Cemetery area is full of temples that you can just make a stroll around and visit each temple and come in and take a look. And that's what we're doing right now. We've come to one which has something kind of interesting here. There's a cool little pond with a bunch of like goldfish in there. I don't know if you can hear that noise, but this green box is motion censored. And it makes that weird noise whenever we move in front of it. And we're not quite sure why. Nicole's theory is to keep cats away from eating the fish in here, but we have no idea really.
We're walking around this area and it's pretty residential, and I like it a lot. It's very quiet and peaceful, and yet has an old school feeling to it. Well, it's very clearly a well-to-do area. If you look around, everything's very well maintained, and there's actual green spaces, gardens are very immaculate, and the houses are very big for Japan standards, Tokyo standards especially. It's quite a big contrast to the neighborhood that we saw yesterday when we were walking home, which was also very, very, very old school. Probably older. I would say probably older than this, and that was much more compact and not as
well maintained.
Yeah. But this is a very fun area, nice area to stroll around with a leisurely morning or leisurely afternoon.
Yeah, it's so quiet.
Yeah, beautiful.
And there's so many temples to just sort of look at as you're doing the walk.
Yeah, and cemeteries. The cemeteries are beautiful, and they're scattered everywhere.
Nicole was just talking about how amazing this neighborhood is, and how affluent it feels, how well maintained it is. And then just after that clip, we walked a couple of steps and to a gateway that we thought was the entrance to the temple we're looking for, and we kind of looked in, and there's a couple of cars parked in there, and it was old, like sort of old looking Japanese buildings, and we realized that's not the temple. It's actually some residences. Like, it looked like a little area where there's maybe a couple of homes in one sort of gated, not community, but like inside a gate. And this area is blowing us away. It's really beautiful, and thinking about living here and how serene it would be and how peaceful. Just go outside and go for a walk. It would be amazing. So we gave up on that particular temple, but we found another one because there's so many in this neighborhood. We're leaving the Yanaka Cemetery area to head to another destination, and it's slow going because we keep bumping into really striking temples along the way out, like this one here behind me, which is really quite unique given the coloring with that purple and gray on this building here, beside a more traditional sort of white and wood wing on the side here. And it's got another vast cemetery, and there's a really serene looking statue in there of, we're not sure who, looks like maybe a monk of some sort. And there's Nicole. And we are going to keep moving and see if we actually get out of Yanaka Cemetery or if we stumble upon another beautiful temple to check out. Yanaka Cemetery keeps pulling us back. We're right on the edge. We're almost out of this area, and we turned the corner and we saw this. And this was literally 15 steps from the purple and gray one in just the previous clip. We didn't get too far till some buildings, like these buildings behind me, got out of the line of sight of these temples. And so we're just gonna walk down and take a quick look. You can't like pass up something like this. What was that?
Golden Kunyam.
I'll go get a shot of it, and then we'll keep going. Yeah, it's really, if you're into temples, this is an area you should definitely come. Oh wow. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm not gonna get a good angle on it, but let's see what's over the top of this gate. Some kind of citrus tree here. I wonder what kind of fruit that is. I wonder if I should snag one. Probably not. It's on the temple grounds. That might be bad.
There's so many temples here that we had to pass up a few, but as we were walking past, I couldn't say no to the fireball. or the mini shrine beside me.
That one's it's really cute.
Yeah. The roof is incredible for the dinky little structure in the bottom.
Yeah, we'll have to get a better shot as we back out. But do you know the significance of the fireball on the top?
I can make up something.
No, don't do that.
Okay.
I think this is gonna have to be the last temple. Hopefully. We just can't make any progress here. This is Shen Saoen Temple. And it is the one that had the gold statue that we sort of saw from a weird angle. And we saw this from across the street. We weren't gonna come in here like, hey, we gotta go. But then we saw this view and we had to come in and take a look. This temple also has a bell tower. There was only a few that we saw in this area that had a bell tower. This is one of the bigger bell towers. It also has that statue. So let's get a better view of the bell tower here. There is the bell and the big piece of wood to gong it with. I wonder what would happen if I gonged it. Shall I? I don't think so. Quite a sight to see. It's interesting, there's palm trees. So we ventured into another non-touristy spot for a meal. We came into a Chinese restaurant actually for lunch. We're on our way from the Yanaka Cemetery area into our next destination. And Nicole's really wanted Chinese food and she keeps asking me. And she just, we went past somewhere that looked really good and I'm really, really hungry. So she kind of, things just aligned for her. So we've ordered set meals by going outside and pointing because they brought us a menu that didn't seem to have them translated. So Nicole's dish actually came already, but that was really fast. Let me show you what she's got.
I kind of got a hybrid dish.
Yeah.
So there's wontons, wonton noodles, and a slice of pork, which is usually not that common when you're having wonton noodles. I'm hungry, so I'm going to dig in. The broth is really, really good. The noodles are a bit different than what I'm used to for wonton noodles.
Are they more ramen-y?
Yeah, they're more ramen-y. They're like very thin ramen. It's good. I'm going to wait a bit before I have the wontons because they're kind of hot. It's very hot.
That's good. It's kind of chilly out.
Yes.
And I am here very hungry, staring at Nicole eating her food, wondering where's my food? I'm sure it's not going to be long. I can see the chef back there walking away. Alright, my dish came and I'm a little bit worried. I decided to order mapo tofu, which is usually spicy, but the spice level varies from place to place. Most places I can handle it, but I've had it at places where my mouth just was on fire. This looks like my mouth might be on fire, but it looks really good.
It's like the lava pit from last night.
I hope not.
We had, was it shabu shabu?
Yeah.
And we had the lava pit. It was really, really good.
Alright, I'm going to give this a try. So let's go straight for the tofu and sauce here without any rice to see what it's like. No, it's not too bad. It's spicy, but it's not crazy spicy. I'm sure I'll be sweating soon enough, but it's really good. It's interesting. I haven't had a flavor of mapo tofu like this before. The tofu is really nice and silky. And there's the typical ground pork in the sauce. It's really good. And the sauce has a really sort of good, almost gelatinous feel in the mouth. I'm gonna chow down. Nicole might have another part of her dish coming, and if it does come, we'll show you. The face sweats are setting in, and another part of my meal came, which I actually forgot about when I saw this tray being put down. I was like, wow, food. I forgot about everything else. But they are some gyozas. It came with 3 gyozas, and they look really well prepared, and Nicole is eyeing them. She's got something in her eyes.
No, I'm batting my eyelashes at you.
I see. You might be able to have one. The gyoza is really good, but it has a very distinct Chinese flavor versus the gyozas we had in Harajuku the other day. And there's a lot of green in it, so I think that I'm safe to eat all three. Nicole probably will not venture into this. But take a look. Yeah, there's a lot of green. Not Nicole's favorite, but I think I've got 3 gyozas.
The last part of my meal came, and wow, that's a lot of food. And we got the lunch set, so it was only like 700 yen per set. And I'll show you my last portion. Looks yummy and legit. It's fried rice with egg, barbecue pork, corn, and perhaps bits of shrimp.
Carrot.
Oh, and carrot too. Yeah, no one likes that.
We're just finishing off lunch here. We demolished this food. I guess we were really hungry, and it was really good. I can totally see why Nicole likes going to Chinese restaurants in different countries, because you get an interesting spin on all the usual dishes that you have back at home. I usually order the mapo tofu when I'm at somewhere I'm not familiar with, and I am seeing differences from different countries or different regions when I do get a chance to have it. And today's was no exception. The sauce had a very unique flavor, which I'm having a really hard time putting my finger on. I almost want to say there's a little squirt of ketchup in, which is not unheard of in making a sauce like this. So yeah, really good find. We're getting really lucky with just walking into random places and having really good meals.
And the amount of food they gave us for 700 yen each is, wow,
Yeah.
bountiful.
Yeah, we're not going hungry and we're not breaking the bank.
We don't need our t-shirts.
Yeah. Nicole wants to have t-shirts made saying we're not on a diet, because sometimes, like not today obviously, but a lot of times we just get really small portions and she's still hungry. But we didn't need those t-shirts today. So yeah, I'm just finishing off with, my meal came with a almond jelly, which is really good. And we're gonna finish up here and get out there to our destination we've been trying to get to for the last couple hours. We came out of the Chinese restaurant. I was gonna go to the 7-Eleven to get a snack, something sweet. I was craving something sweet, and then I saw the fish sign on this building, so I came over thinking it's gotta be one of these things, and it totally is.
Don't drop it. Whoa, he's cute. Look at his fins. Oh.
He won't be cute for long.
Don't chop his head off. Oh, I said don't chop his head off.
And the contraption that he has where he's making them is really neat. It's like a round wheel of the molds, and he just sits there spinning them, flipping fresh one out, which is one of these, and then putting a little bit of batter, and then filling it with some stuffing, and then putting a bit more batter, closing it, going on to the next. He's just sitting there constantly cranking these out.
That's totally a fun job. I want to do that.
Well, maybe we can make it happen. Gotta figure out what these are called. I keep forgetting the name. Yaki is in them.
Take a bite and then...
It's hot though, I don't want to burn myself.
Okay.
It's very good.
Are they watching you?
Yeah. No, it's very good. Right.
How does this one compare to last night?
This one's a little bit more cakey. A little bit more batter on this one.
Yeah.
Yesterday's was super, super thin. The stuffing was like almost coming through the batter, but I like the batter. I went and asked the guy what it's called so I can hopefully remember this time. Thai yaki. And this one is red bean filling, which is anko.
Anko Thai Yaki.
Thai yaki.
Ah.
All right, we've made it over to Nizu Shrine, and we're pretty excited to go in and take a look, because from what we've read, this is a shrine within a park, and that's something that seems somewhat unusual. We've never really seen that before, so we're excited to go see what that means, and let's go find out. one of the draws of Neizu Shrine are all these tories that you can see behind me. These orange tories leading the way along various pathways to different buildings in this complex. And it reminds me of a part of a shrine in Kyoto with really huge orange tories like this. But this is really quite quaint, and it's really quite an experience to walk through them all as you go from building to building. So if these tories are similar to the ones in Kyoto, they've been probably paid for by donations from various people or families or whatnot. And I think that's what's written on the tories here, is that these are probably the names of the donators, and then this is the time period in which it was erected. And I don't think that these are the actual years as we know them. They're probably more like in relation to eras, but I can't decipher that. Oh. Hopefully that wasn't bogus information. Hopefully it's the same pattern as what they do in Kyoto. The legend has it that this shrine was established in the 1st century AD and wasn't originally located here. It was built a little bit more north and relocated here on orders of a Tokugawa shogun. This shrine is modeled after the Toshugu shrine in Nikko and uses the Gongen style of architecture. It's really quite unique compared to most shrines that we see because it's a lot more ornate. There's a lot of color put into the rafters just under the roof line, and there's a lot of gold. They use a lot of gold in the carvings or statues of animals in the rafters. It's really quite striking, and it does really stand out from the crowd of shrines that we visited today. What do you think of the shrine complex here?
I want to say it's beautiful, but I feel like everyone's going to be tired of us saying everything is beautiful.
Yeah.
But this shrine complex really is just breathtakingly beautiful. It's like being in a beautiful park / a little bit of a, I don't know, like palace. I kind of get the feeling like we're in something more like more royalty. Like it's definitely not a poor shrine. They definitely it was definitely a prosperous shrine, and it's just, I don't know, just wandering around here, you just totally forget that you're in the city.
It's one of Japan's oldest shrines, and inside the actual part of the main hall, if you go through the gates, and it's fenced in with really ornate walls. It feels like a shrine complex right in there. They have the walkways with the stones in between, like around the walkways and whatnot. But as soon as you get out of there, it does not feel like a shrine complex at all. It does feel, as Nicole says, much more like a park. And there's a lot of people here just using it like a park. Yeah. There's people walking their dogs. There's people sitting on benches here just enjoying the scenery. But yeah, it's really lush. There's a lot of greenery. There's a lot of ponds. The bridge is famous, and there's a lot of koi fish. It's quite spectacular and quite different, just like the building itself, which is a little bit unique. The grounds here, I would say, are quite unique in terms of sort of shrine complexes that we've seen throughout Japan.
My favorite two features in this complex would be the bridge, the torii gates, and the gate the three things, and the torii gate that that leads you into the main complex, because it's really quite elaborate and very, very colorful and ornate.
Which gate?
The gate over there.
That's not a torii gate.
Did I say torii gate?
It's just a gate.
I'm full from the Chinese food.
That is a really ornate gate. Just like the building, the main shrine building itself, it's decorated with a lot of gold and color.
We're here now, and it's fall, and it's very, very beautiful. And we've heard that where this shrine actually really shines is during its springtime season, where apparently they have like thousands and thousands of azalea bushes and plants in bloom. and I could just only imagine what it'd be like at that time. Because right now, I think that, wow, this is mind-blowingly beautiful. It gets better?
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it can be better. All right, I think we should push off and move on. So we'll see you at the next destination. We made it back into Ueno Park, and our first stop in the park here is a shrine, and this shrine is dedicated to the very first Tokugawa shogunate, Tokugawa Ieyasu. And he's supposed to have been enshrined here, but there's other shrines around Japan in which he is also enshrined. His actual remains are not here. There's a burial somewhere where those are, but somehow his spirit is enshrined here, and it's really quite detailed or quite elaborate, this particular shrine. It has a gate here which was built in the Chinese style with big gold doors, and then inside this walled area is the actual shrine, which you can't really see too much of from out here, but you can see the roof and the gold, all the gold accents. There's gold accents everywhere. There's a lot of gold. Let me see if I can zoom in. Sort of make out some of the gold in the walled area on the shrine. And the first Tokugawa shogunate was the warlord who managed to unite all of Japan, or most of Japan, under one common government, and they ruled in the Edo period for almost 300 years, I think, until the Meiji Restoration, when the emperor was again placed as the power of the country. Alright, we kind of failed getting to Ueno Park before sundown again, but that is kind of lucky because we stumbled into an area of the park where they have a walkway with trees that sort of arch over the walkway, and they're all lit up with pink and white lights, and it's really pretty. The lights sort of start off at the trunk all white, and they get pinker and pinker as they get to the branches, and there's a lot of people here just kind of enjoying and walking a lot around. And maybe it's kind of what they're trying to do is show, like, this must be cherry blossoms. I wonder if this is cherry blossoms in the spring, and they sort of try to capture that with the lights in the winter. It's really quite picturesque
and very romantic. These two are gonna walk down the street hand in hand.
We're in an area of Ueno Park which used to be marshland, and it now is 3 ponds that all surround what's called the floating, what do they call it, like the floating hexagonal building or something like that, hexagonal tower. And it's this really nice tower, part of a temple in the middle of the pond, the 3 ponds. You can walk out to it and go around it, and Nicole thinks it looks better from afar. It does. It glows. It's lit up really brightly, and you can really see it really well from across the pond, and it does look pretty spectacular, like it's sort of just floating in the middle of nothing. But yeah, we kind of failed with Ueno Park. We've been here before on previous...
Monkeys!
We think those are monkeys.
I can see them.
We're walking out of the park, and there's an area here which seems kind of far from the zoo. There's a zoo. Oh yeah, you can see them. We're far from the zoo, so I don't know if this is just some extra buildings that they use for certain animals, or if this is not related to the zoo. I'm not really sure, but yeah, Ueno Park is a pretty huge park. There's temples, there's the shrine we looked at earlier, there's the ponds, there's a national museum here. There's quite a few museums here, but it's a huge, vast park, and it dates back to the Meiji Restoration period, where there weren't public parks in Japan before. This was one of the first 3, I think, that was modeled after sort of like what the West was doing with their parks. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that this park was actually established 1 year after Yosemite Park back in the US. we were craving grilled meats, so we decided to come to an area where we've had really good luck in the past finding a good barbecue place, and that is Tokyo's red light district, Kabuchiko, and it's right beside Shinjuku. You just get out of Shinjuku Station, cross the street, and you're basically at the foot of the red light district here. So we're gonna wander around and try and find a barbecue place and point out interesting things that we see, which we always find some interesting stuff. There's a lot of lights flashing, a lot of billboards lit up, and a lot of noise. So Nicole's looking up here. I'm gonna go find her and see what's going on. We just passed the robot restaurant. It's what a spectacle it is out front. Super loud, a lot of flashing lights, a couple of the big robots there you can see. Basically, I think you go in, you watch, you have dinner, and you are watching a show which is made up of a lot of robots, and I guess there's some humans. I've never been before. You can find lots of stuff on the internet on that now. I think Anthony Bourdain has gone. A couple of friends of mine have gone. So yeah, if you want the interesting sort of weird Japanese experience, go in for that. Alright, we found a barbecue place. It looks really legit. It's exactly what I remember, this type of small little place where they have a big bucket of charcoal going out front. And this one actually had a hair dryer going and blowing keeping it really, really hot. And then they bring in some charcoal for each table. They've got a bucket of charcoal here. And they have this chimney that they pull down and it goes right over top. And so it sucks up all the smoke. And I'm really hungry. We ordered 4 plates of various meat, and we're waiting for it to come, and when it does, we'll definitely show you.
What do you have there?
Some kind of cabbage-based salad.
Oh no.
Your favorite. The dressing's got a little slight bit of spice to it, and it's just shredded cabbage with a slightly spicy dressing on it. Alright, our first dish just came. That was really fast. That was like literally seconds after we ended that last segment. But we ordered beef cheek and pork cheek, and those 2 came. There's 2 more things coming that we're waiting for. But here is the pork cheek. Right, so we're gonna put this pork cheek on the grill, and I think we're just gonna start grilling it up because Nicole's looking kind of hangry, and she sees all this meat and she wants to get going. So here. Why don't you get going then? What's that? That's the beef cheek.
We got a pork cheek going as well. For me. This was the... Which beef was this one?
This is
the fancy...
yeah.
This is the Wagyu.
Yeah, that's Wagyu rib meat, I believe. And that is skirt steak.
I think we need the t-shirt when we come here.
Smoke just gets sucked right up the chimney here. And are you going in already? No. A bit more?
And of course I touched it against the pork.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try the pork cheek.
That is beef cheek.
Beef cheek. That's what I meant to say, beef cheek.
It's good?
Beef cheek tastes good.
Excellent. All right, let's get to it here. All right, I'm gonna try this Wagyu rib meat, I think it is. I'm gonna dip it, some salt and some sauce here. I'm gonna dip it in the salt. Salt, meat.
That's so good.
That is so good.
We We need to throw in some more.
Yeah, it's just fatty, so the fat is melting on the charcoal, which gets it nice and juicy. It's really, really good.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like, I'll show you what it looks like raw. There's the Wagyu beef we're eating. And there is a good view of the beef cheek and pork cheek. And that last one is skirt steak. I love skirt steak. That's the meat I usually use if I'm making fajitas at home or tacos. It's really good. And it's really good on this charcoal. Look at how legit this charcoal is. Hope they don't burn the camera up, but you can see that charcoal, big charcoal cubes. This is the barbecue experience we were looking for when we came to Shinjuku, and it's not disappointing. Nicole is going nuts. You were really hungry. You didn't want to film it at all before you started eating. So
It's amazing.
it's amazing, she says.
Oh, amazing. It's so delicious. Oh my god. I wish that I could share the deliciousness with you somehow.
You're lying. You wouldn't share.
Well, no, not my meat. I wish you had your own meat so that you can taste it too. I'm having such a good time. What's your favorite dish so far?
I think it's the Wagyu beef.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. But everything's really good. I'm surprised how good the beef cheek is. The pork cheek is really good. Basically, everything's been really good. Freshly grilled meat on charcoal, how do you go wrong? But yeah, I really think that the Wagyu beef is my favorite so far.
Yeah. The heat coming off of this pot is really intense. It's burning my knuckles as I'm holding the camera.
Yeah, every time I bend in to eat, I'm like scared eyebrows are gonna singe off or something. What's your favorite so far?
Definitely the Wagyu beef.
Yeah.
And then the short ribs.
Yeah.
And then the cheeks.
Mmm.
But I like it all.
Yeah.
I don't like this though. This is stupid. Why did you do the salad?
Yeah.
Stupid.
Right, round one was really, really good, but it did not satisfy the craving, so we ordered a couple more dishes. We ordered another Wagyu beef of some sort. It's got some sauce on it. And we ordered a sesame pork skirt, which I've never heard of before. Maybe it's something by a different name at home, but it looks really good. Nicole's got a piece. You gonna go for it?
Yes. They definitely did err on the side of large quantities for the little plates that are coming out. I can't taste the sesame, but the meat flavor is coming through loud and clear and is screaming good, 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 good.
So our journey over here from Ueno Park, from the Ueno area, wasn't in waste. It wasn't in vain. We didn't waste our time coming over here looking for grilled meats. This place fit the bill and hit the spot. So we're going to finish up these last couple of dishes and we're going to get out there and explore the red light district a little bit. Right, we're done with dinner. Dinner was really good. It adds up quickly though. It's a bit pricey, all those dishes, but well worth it, I think. Every time we come to Tokyo, we always come to this area to find grilled meats and get in a good barbecue place. Nicole thinks we actually ate there before, and as I was paying, I vaguely remembered the setup of the cache under the stairs, so yeah, we probably ended up by complete fluke in the same spot we were in.
So what do you got there now?
Yeah, I felt like something sweet, so I decided to come into Family Mart. And ice cream was on the brain, so I picked up something. It's a banana caramel ice cream bar.
Ew, who would buy something else like that?
Me? It looks kind of weird.
It sounds kind of weird.
I'm trying to open it such that I can keep the paper on it. It's starting to rain out, so everyone's coming in to buy an umbrella. And unfortunately, the umbrellas are right where we were filming.
So how is this concoction of banana and caramel ice creamness?
The ice cream's banana. I got banana pretty much right away. And it's crunchy, the outside's crunchy. And it looks like there's some kind of caramel in the middle, but I haven't hit it yet. But I think we're kind of in the way. This isn't the biggest family mart I've ever seen. So let's go back out to the red light district. Really good dinner. I'm glad we came to Shinjuku, and we had an interesting walk around. It started to rain a little bit, so we ducked into a Muji because there was a few things we wanted to pick up. And the Muji that we used to go to in Ginza is closed, so we just took advantage of the one being here and got what we needed to get. But yeah, we were walking around. There's like a really interesting level of sketch here. Like it's like Nicole calls it like posh sketch. It's like, it's not intimidating or scary or anything like that, but it's just a lot of DVD shops and porno shops and clothing shops, and you know, any kind of sex-related stuff is going to be here in the red light district. And there's these buildings with girls' pictures on it, or pictures of girls, and then there's a dude standing down at the door at the bottom, sort of guarding it with a binder, and he never looks intimidating or threatening, but he's just there. I'm not sure to do what. Like, we haven't quite figured out what's going on in these buildings.
He looks like a cross between devious and weary, and he never approaches us because it's very obvious that we're foreigners and probably not interested in his services. But I really, really want one of them to approach us one day so that we can sneak into his binder and see what's going on.
Yeah, we're really curious. We've always been here for years. Ever since we came here, we've been very curious. But it's a fun walk around. It's nothing to be worried or intimidated about. Like some countries' red light districts are pretty sketchy, and you may, you know, not bother. Like, we don't bother all the time. But here it's just kind of fun. It's weird to see some of the stuff that's going on the buildings. But yeah, generally pretty safe. Had no issues, and we're just heading into Shinjuku Station now to go home. I think we're going to have an early night in comparison to the last few nights. We've only got 3 full days left, so we're kind of bummed about that. And we want to make the most of our days, so I want to get a good sleep and have a good full day tomorrow. Do you have anything to add? No. I'm glad we're out of the rain and that we are heading home now. Yeah. Alright, so I guess we'll end the video here. We'll see you tomorrow.
Please stand clear of the closing doors. お待たせいたしました。南浦和行きドアが閉まります。閉まるドアにご注意ください。